Okay, here we go. 6123 medical requirements. Those are just normal. You guys know those. You know where to find them. It's still listed. IFR recency requirements. What is it? 6 months. All right. Is that recording already? All right. Here we go. So there's two different methods you can use. I don't care which one. Depends if you're crude or if you're not crude, whatever.
Can we do the crude version?
So 666. Just remember that IFR currency is demonic. So 666. I've got to have 6 approaches with intercepting, tracking, and holding procedures in the last 6 months. If not, I have 6 more months to get current. 666. Okay? So that's easy to remember. 666. 6 approaches to intercepting, holding, and tracking within the last 6 months. After that expires, I have 6 more months to get those approaches, or I have to do an IPC. I have to do an IPC. I can do an IPC with who? Whom? With any double I or an examiner or whatever. But if I'm going to sign you off for an IPC, is it going to be you? No, it is not, because I am basically signing you off on a check ride saying, they're good to go, fly in the cloud solo. So unless you can demonstrate to me that you can fly in the cloud solo, I'm not going to sign that thing.
So you're saying don't go to you?
Do not lapse, is what I'm saying. Most instructors will not sign you off. So don't lapse on your currency, okay? It's not that hard. You can get your currency in a simulator, downstairs, rent the sim. You can do it for your proficiency. We let instructors that are currently hired get their proficiency for free in the sim. So no reason to let it lapse. I knew a guy who used to come here every December, and he'd shoot 6 approaches with a hold and whatever. Now, he was only current for 6 months after that, but he never flew IFR. He actually did Microsoft Flight Sim to keep current on his instrument stuff. Never had any need to go IFR, but he didn't want to lose it. So every December he came down here, boom, kept legal, never had to do an IPC. Now, as long as you're doing that and you're actually keeping up on your stuff at home, then you might be safe. If you're just doing that and you're not studying anything, well, yeah, you're probably not going to be too safe. Okay? You want the crude one?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I want the good one.
There you go.
Like 30 minutes here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Within the preceding 6 months, I've got to have 6 approaches with holding, intercepting, and tracking procedures.
What's the S?
6 months, I have to shoot 6 approaches with holding, intercepting, and tracking procedures.
Shoot approaches. Right. Or am I just
6 approaches.
gotcha? 6.
Whatever you want to work, whatever sticks, whatever, I don't care. Okay? Now, you've got to remember that this is a rolling thing based on your approaches. Okay? So, just because you took a check ride doesn't make you current. If you, for some reason, had only shot 1 approach leading up to that check ride, you're still only current from the date of the last 6. Okay? So to make sure we understand this, if I shot, what do we have? All right, there we go. There's our months of the year. So if I shot 2 approaches here, 3 here, and 1 here, when do I expire? June.
November.
June.
Okay, everything in navigation is calendar months, right?
June 30th.
So February, March, April, May, June, July. July 31st, I'm now expired. How many approaches do I need?
6.
2. I only need 2.
Oh, come on.
Now I'm current till when?
Oh.
The end of September.
April, May, June, July, August, September. I'm current to the end of September now. How many do I need to do?
3.
So I need 3. Okay. So that's how it rolls. Do you understand that? So that's why it's always easiest to just like get your 6 done, and that way you can do it. Otherwise, you've got to measure from dates as it rolls along, and you're out by 1, you're out by... The worst is when you get people who get in this habit of going 1, 1, 1, 1. Guess what they have to do for the rest of their life? Shoot 1 approach every month. So figure out a schedule, make sure you're on it. If you just want to get 6 and knock it out, whatever. But just keep it current. To be, for flying here as an instructor, you can't fly at night unless you're instrument current. Why? Insurance. Can you see clouds at night? Oh. So if you're not instrument current, we don't want you going in there and you being the person who flips it upside down instead of the student. So we want to make sure that you're current and that you're good there. Okay, questions on that? Okay, instrument rating requirements. They just need to know those, what's required. Okay, IFR limitations on commercial certificate. I always think it's hilarious when you're taking your instrument written test. It says, if you don't have an instrument rating, what are you limited to? Well, if I'm taking this test, aren't I getting an instrument rating? But if you're a commercial pilot without an instrument rating, you're limited to you can't carry passengers beyond 50 miles or at night. So, all right. PIC responsibilities, emergency deviation. When I have an emergency, what happens to this book?
It goes out the window.
It goes out the window. So, if you have an emergency, this is why I stress to everybody, especially in IFR, if the thought runs through your mind, is this an emergency? Yes, it is. Because the moment that you say those magic words, I am declaring an emergency, they can't violate you unless you do something incredibly ridiculously stupid. At that point, you can deviate to whatever's necessary for the safety of flight, and they can't violate you. You don't say those magic words, and the violations start racking up as the situation gets on and on and on and on. And as long as you live through it, you're going to see a bunch of violations at the end of that.
Now, if you declare an emergency and afterwards you land, everything gets resolved, does the FAA come through and do they reevaluate everything to determine if it was actually an emergency?
90% of the time, emergencies, no paperwork, nothing. If there was some question as to how you got in the situation, that's when they request paperwork. So if you did something stupid to get yourself there in the first place, you might be looked into. But yeah, do not hesitate declaring an emergency. It saves your can, okay? Because all this stuff goes out the window, okay? Portable electronic devices on IFR flights. There's only 4 of them that are technically allowed. What are they? Are you ready for them?
Voice recorder, shaver, pacemaker.
Look at this guy. So I always do something stupid to my students. I'm like, just remember, it's a hearing aid, a voice recorder, a shaver, and a pacemaker. It's really stupid, but it works.
So what is the deal with them?
Hearing aid, voice recorder,
Interrupt.
shavers.
What is the rest of them? Interrupt.
The problem is, and this is where you really get into it. A cell phone does, and you guys have heard that on the headphones before. When your cell phone goes off, you get static. Okay. So the problem is when they look at it, notice it says that an operator can determine if you can use it or not. So when do you have to turn off all your electronic devices? Takeoff and landing. Once you're en route, though, they're like, yeah, turn them on, whatever, no big deal. That's because the margin of error, everything. But when you're coming in on like an ILS, you got some guy with some cell phone going off. Do you know where the antenna is located on the airplane? I don't know. Where do the wires run in the airplane? Is that guy sitting right next to something that's going to interfere? You don't know. And so basically that's what it is saying is in IFR flight, unless it's, the operator says, yeah, during this phase of flight you can use it, don't turn it on. Because it has been known, different electronic devices, to interfere with the radio signals. So, yes. Okay, IFR required pre-flight action. My favorite one is weak fart. Some people use Northwest Craft. I like the crude ones, I guess. Weak fart I actually like the best because it actually goes in order. To me, it's a logical order. So, IFR, Remember, 91-103 applies to all